So obviously over the weekend at Star Wars Celebration, we got the brand new Star Wars Jedi Survivor trailer, and although it's obviously very short and doesn't really appear like it gives off all that much information, there are still some key bits of information that we did learn, and today I'm essentially going to be going through all of that with you guys and letting you know everything that we know about the game so far. Before we get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications, and be sure to check out the new Clips channel as well. The link to that will be down in the description. But with that being said, let's get stuck right into it. So the first thing that I think is worth noting is that it is confirmed the game is set in 9 BBY, which is essentially 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and it is 5 years roughly after Jedi Fallen Order. So this game is 5 years roughly after the first game, and that actually results it to be set in the same year as Kenobi. So I've obviously seen a lot of speculation out there already that maybe he goes and meets Kenobi or something like that. I'm not too sure whether that's actually going to happen, but I think because everyone heard about Ewan McGregor mentioning video games and lore and all that kind of thing, I think people are just going to always tie those two things together. Me personally, I'm not too sold on it, but it is definitely a possibility. Now, the next bit of information that we know, and this is probably one of the biggest pieces of information that we will ever know about this game, is that it's only releasing on next-gen consoles and PC. So obviously the PS5, the Xbox Series S and X, and then PC, and it is launching obviously in 2023, likely earlier in the year, but we actually don't really know that just yet. It is confirmed that EA will be launching a major IP video game in the first 3 months of 2023, so there is a chance it could be, say, February or March, but again, that isn't confirmed yet. I do think it's likely, but we are just going to have to wait and see. Now, there was an interview with Stig Asmussen, who is the creative director on both Fallen Order and now Survivor, confirmed in that interview that there will be certain elements in this game that were kind of left on the cutting room floor for Jedi Fallen Order, potentially some different stuff like a combat stance mechanic, for example, which I think is really, really interesting to think about. We know in Star Wars that there are 7 different forms that the Jedi learn, and I think it would be really cool actually to be able to sort of choose between those forms. Forms almost dictate your stance in a way, so the fact that there will be potentially combat stance mechanics, I don't think he would have really mentioned that if that wasn't something that's, you know, potentially going to be in the game. If we are getting that combat stance sort of mechanic, then yeah, there's every chance that we could potentially also get those different forms. So definitely something to think about there. None of that is necessarily confirmed, but that did all come from Stig Asmussen himself. Now, something else that was mentioned in that interview is that the crew will be in the game, so obviously Grease and Seer and Merrin and those characters, they will be in the game, which obviously leading into the game we all kind of knew that would happen, but then in the trailer obviously the Stinger Mantis is like broken down and it looks like it's crashed on some random planet, and then when it sort of pans out to the front window there, we can only see one set of footprints. So for me personally, I was kind of thinking, okay, like what, maybe they're all dead, maybe they've been split up, something sort of happened, because it seems weird that there was only one set of footprints. But it is confirmed that the crew will be in the game, which is definitely very good, because I think those characters were set up really well in Fallen Order itself. They all seem pretty likable, and I think they all added to the story, so it is going to be great to see them back in Jedi Survivor. Now, Stig also confirmed that the game is going to expand a lot on the first game in terms of like the graphics and just the overall look of the game. He's confirmed that ray tracing is going to be in the game, so that is going to be a big plus. The general lighting was something else that he mentioned as well, saying that it's just a lot easier for them to do now. So essentially all of the planets and the different maps that we get to play on there are all going to look a lot better. And this isn't actually confirmed, but I would imagine this is the case, that the game is probably going to be designed in Unreal Engine 5. That did just come out sort of recently, over the last 6 months or so, I think. So there is a chance that they had obviously started designing the game before that, and that could mean that maybe it won't be on Unreal Engine 5. But for any of you guys who've seen anything to do with Unreal Engine 5, it is absolutely ridiculously good looking. Some of the stuff I've seen people make, it genuinely looks like it's real life. Like, it's so crisp and clean, and at least judging by the cinematic in the teaser trailer, to me that looked a bit like Unreal Engine 5. It looked a lot more realistic. Even seeing Cal's face, like that looked a lot more realistic than the cinematics that you see for Fallen Order, for example. So again, not confirmed at all, and it could have sort of missed the boat, could have been well developed before Unreal 5 came out. So it's not confirmed, but I do think there is a good chance that the game will be developed in Unreal 5. Now, the last thing that we know, that again, this one isn't necessarily confirmed, but this is going to be pretty shocking if it doesn't turn out to be true. It seems that the guy in the tank, the Bacta tank tank or the cloning chamber, whatever that's going to turn out to be. He seems to be the same guy with that red lightsaber. Now the reason for that is because when we see the sort of aerial view of that tank, it looks like he's only got one arm. You can see very clearly on the left there that he's got a left arm, and then on the right there's sort of nothing there. Now that arm could just be down by his side, so that's not really confirmed, but it definitely looks like he's only got one arm, and I don't know why, if he's floating in the Bacta or whatever it is, why his arm would be down by his side. So that character looks like he's only got one arm, and that is obviously the left arm. And then when we actually see the guy with the red lightsaber in the trailer, he is holding his lightsaber in his left hand, and at no point do we see him grab it with two hands. We see Cal fighting with two hands, and most people in Star Wars do tend to fight two-handed. However, this guy is only fighting with his left, and you can't even see his right hand, like, you know, being slightly out for balancing, for example. If you think about when someone's playing tennis, for example, they're hitting the ball with their right hand, their left arm is generally out still. That's just a natural motion. And so the fact that this guy is swinging with his left hand, you'd think we would be able to see his right hand still sort of sticking out there, but it is essentially not to be seen. So I do really believe that the guy in the tank is the same person with the red lightsaber. But again, that isn't confirmed at all. That is just mostly speculation, but I think that's a pretty well estimated guess. I've seen so many other people saying that as well. It's not just me that's thinking that, and so I do think that's a pretty important thing to know, or at least be fairly certain of leading into the game. That is essentially all that we know so far though, guys. Like I said, it was a 1:20 trailer, so there wasn't actually that much to go through, but there were definitely a few bits of extra information from that interview with Stig, and so I thought I'd compile all of that for you guys in a neat little package, because I think we are all itching to get our hands on this game and pretty much know as much information as we possibly can. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. If you want to support the content that I make here on YouTube, then consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. The link to that is down in the description. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.